What's up, people? How are we feeling tonight? It is Wednesday, February 25th. Some may refer to this on the Mayan calendar. Mayans actually figured this out way before we did, but they actually figured out alternative on the Mayan calendar when they were like figuring out the technology and stuff, and figuring out, time and everything like that due to the sun. They figured out that Wednesday was actually hump day. So some of you may know it as hump day, depending on where you're from, how educated you are. So happy hump day to anybody out there watching. I'm feeling good. Give yourselves a round of applause. Come on. Boy, do you need it. Boy, do you need it. I don't know how your work week is going. Hopefully it's going well. It's halfway over anyways. But hopefully it gets better. Hopefully you make some improvements. Or hopefully you go into this Thursday and finish out the week strong on Friday. Come on, folks. Come on. Gather on in. I'm not going to be too long tonight. I'm only going to be 30 minutes. Don't hold me to it. Don't hold me to it. All right, folks, without further ado, here we are. Where's my face? Here it is. How we doing tonight, folks? It's De La Spurs. Welcome to the show. Welcome to another live stream, De La Spurs Live. Again, Wednesday, February 25th. I'm feeling pretty good. It is, what time is it exactly? 6:06 p.m. Central Standard Time where I'm at. A little bit late, but hey, got to give some time for the people to come in, draw in the audience. That is still at 0, but we're going to get into it. Hey, come on. All right. It don't matter. That don't get me down. Here we go. And I thank you guys all for coming in tonight. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Especially in regards, or I should say in regards of relegation. We're going to be talking about that. Hold on, let me fix the camera a little bit. There we go. Lower the camera a little bit so my face is not being hit by the banner. But yeah, we're going to be talking about Tottenham in relegation. Relegation battle is on. No doubts about it. Defcon 2. Sound the alarms. Ring the bells. Fans, do not be, well, you should be alarmed, but don't, be surprised that this is the situation that we're in. Right? Don't be surprised. But we're going to get into it. We're going to analyze who's at fault and what this was. Also, we're going to be talking about the PR machine that we know at Tottenham in full effect, actually. We're seeing some inklings now about maybe this wage structure that we have needs to be ripped up and changed. And that maybe this year they understand that that the reason why we haven't been able to compete is because we haven't been paying the players we need to come in. So they're willing to change up the wage structure, right? Rip it all up, tear it all down, build up a new wage structure, and prepare for a big summer. So we're going to get into all that. But first, please do me a favor. Go ahead, take a moment, all right? Like the live stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, De La Spurs. More great content is coming your way, folks. Don't worry, it's coming your way. So go ahead, subscribe to the channel, get in on it now. All right, feel free to leave a comment, share the video as well. Follow me on X if you want to see some of the things I'm talking about, see my replies. I'll tweet out some things. So yeah, follow me on X as well. That will also be in the description as well. But yeah, get in on this greatness, man. Like I said, it's only going to get up from here. Hey, we're going to be one of the few content creators covering Tottenham when we're in the championship. Remember that. I will cover us in the championship. I don't know nothing about the championship. I'll figure it out. We're going to be there together. But hey, We'll do it together. So go ahead, subscribe to the channel now, like the live stream now. Hey, and hey, share this video with someone who's a fan of a team in the championship. Maybe just maybe they'll want to watch this too, because we'll be in the we'll be in the same boat for not too long. Well, to kind of go right into the topic first, we're just gonna go ahead and get in on this. I mean, listen here, the relegation battle is real. I think that's something that just needs to be said. There's no doubts about it. You can try to say that there's, more in this team. There's more in Tudor. We have points on the board, which is true. We do have points on the board, but I want to talk about just exactly, as far as relegation, the reasons why we are in a battle. Because you could look at some clubs that could be in a similar situation to Tottenham and say, oh, but the points they have, they'll get a win or two. They'll be able to pull out a couple of results. Players pull together, manager do some tactical changes, make some subs that completely change the game, and we'll be home golden. We'll be home golden. Made it by the skin of our teeth into the end of the season and avoid relegation, stay in the Premier League, and hopefully go into this big summer that we've been hearing about. But for whatever reason, it just feels with the team, how we're playing, the form we're in now, there's not a lot to pull from as far as where exactly we can, first of all, score goals. Second, get a result as far as a win and get 3 points on the board. And then most importantly, get multiple wins to secure our place outside of the relegation. So we're going to take a look at, the relegation table first and just kind of see point blank right now why it feels that way. And then we're going to go back, of course, and kind of analyze points of the season of where it turned into that. But let me go ahead and get this screen going first. I'm not sharing the right screen. I had a screen pulled up, but I didn't have the right one. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Okay. So as you can see here, this is the Opta analysis. I'm not sure if how credited this is. If anybody watching, if you believe in this table, if you believe in these analysis, whatever stats that they're pulling from, however they pull it, right? So it's powered by Stats Perform. So not sure how credited this is. So if you want to say, oh, well, this is an accredited site, I have no counter to that, to be quite honest. But I did want to look at this because this does actually provide some really cool insight into what's looking like could be a relegation battle that we're in, or if we could be relegated. So first, we're gonna just look at the table right now here at the top, and as you can see, at the top here of the table, what we have selected is the actual table. So this is the actual points, right? Actual form. These are the real stats. You'll see in these two ones here, there's expected, right? So this is what was to be expected, and this is what's to be predicted, all right? So we're going to first look at the actual table. And as you can see here, we are all the way close to the lowly bottom in 16th place. Oh, you probably can't see it because of my name. There we go. In 16th place. You probably can't see the last few names. It's Burnley and Wolves. That are the two teams in the very bottom, West Ham in 18th place. But this is what's been interesting, as you can see here, is the form table. And this is really what's key, and really what's the reason why a lot of fans don't have a lot of confidence. The reason why I don't have a lot of confidence in us in this relegation battle is look at this form table here. So first you look at the teams. Let's just look at the teams above us and see how well they're doing, right? because maybe just maybe the teams above us, they might get pulled down into this if they don't get enough points, right? If we get points and start getting up on those teams, right? Maybe we can pull them into the mess. And if they drop points, they'll be down there with us and maybe provide a little bit of cushion. So let's look at a couple of teams that are pretty close to us, right? So we're looking at, we're in 16th. Let's look at 3 places above us, Crystal Palace. They have 35 points with a -3 goal difference. So you can see in their last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, they only have 2 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. So out of the total of 18 points, they have 7. Yeah, 7 points. 7 points out of 18. So not the best form, right? 35 points. That means they are 6 points ahead of us. So 2 wins. Not three wins, 2 wins ahead of us, right? Which seems manageable. We have 11 games left, 2 wins. You feel like you can get 2 wins in 11 games. We'll look at our schedule. But you feel like that's possible. That's feasible, right? You have enough time to try to get 1 win, another 2 or 3 games, and get another, right? So not too bad. Not too bad. Let's look at the next team, Brighton in 14th place, right? They have 34 points on a 2-goal ratio. So they're in the positive, which could be a factor, of course, especially looking at all these teams that are currently in the negative. Their form is not the best either. As you can see here, they only have 1 win out of their last 6. So that means they only have, they only have 5 points out of their last 18. 5 points out of their last 18, right? So that's not good form whatsoever. 3 losses in there as well. So not good at all. They're on 34 points. So again, you're talking about a win, 2 wins, and you're above them. 2 wins, you're above them. If not a win and 2 draws, you're right there level with them. So that also seems feasible. Something that may seem something like we can accomplish in 11 games. So Brighton, right there too. Let's look at Leeds, the teams that's directly above us in the table at 31 points. So right there with us. 2 draws, we're tied in with them. If we can get a win, boy, how crucial that would be. That's what they call the 4-pointer game, right? In the relegation battle. Because if we can get above Leeds, pull them into that range with Nottingham Forest and West Ham, that will give us another cushion. And then boom, if we are 32 points, we'll be 2 points behind Brighton. Get another win, boom. We'll be right there on 35 points, and that provides us another cushion, right? So on and so forth. So Leeds right there, 31 points. Look at their form, right? So out of 18, they have 9 points out of 18. So they've gotten 9 points out of half the games they could have got points. They got points out of half the games they could have. So you see here, 9 points out of 18. That's not bad. That's not bad for a team that's especially at -9 goal difference. Being able to get 9 points, 3 draws, 2 wins, and a loss, right? That team, a team that's usually fighting at this level, at this side of the table, that's like damn near winning form. That's damn near winning form. Not saying you're on a win streak or anything, but that's good form. The team is going to be on a high. The team's going to be confident, and they're going to be mentally there, ready to battle when you're in this form. So the Leeds are a team, right, that you would not want to look forward to playing. They're still desperate. They're still in a relegation fight as far as what they know, even though they're only 6 points, right? 25, 31. They're only 6 points above the relegation zone. So they have a cushion, but it's not the most comfortable cushion. So this team is going to be willing to fight in every game they come in. And they got, oh, wow. Holy mackerel. What was that? Every game was funny. That's just incredible. Jesus. Okay. Um. Woo. Um. Yeah. That's just. I'm sorry. This. Anyway, let's try to get back on focus. Right. So every game they arrive to, they're going to be confident and they're going to be desperate. They're going to be hungry. So Leeds is a team you don't want to play, especially at this point in the season. You have the team below us. Let's just look at the two teams below us. We're not necessarily going to look too deep into the relegation zone. We're going to look at these two teams because these are the two teams that are closest to us, right? We have first Nottingham Forest with 27 points. They have a negative 14 goal difference. So goal difference will be of no issue when it comes down to the final day, in my opinion, unless we have some major mess ups, some major issues in the defense, and we just ship goals all the way towards the end of the season. I don't think we can cough up um, negative 10 goals in 11 games, which doesn't sound that crazy, right? That's like, say like, okay, a goal a game, but I think it won't be a factor for us. I don't think it'll be a factor. But you see they're on negative 14 goal difference. You look at their form, right? They got 6 points out of the last 18. So a third of the points they could have got, right? But look at their form, right? 2 losses, okay. But you're looking at their most recent games, draw, win, draw. Now, I don't have the teams that they played, right? I know they've recently played Liverpool, and they played Liverpool very well. So you're talking about a team that just played a big team, played them very well. Their last 3 games, they haven't lost. Their last 3 games, they've gotten 5 points. So in the last 9 points available, they gotten 5, which is about half, 50%. So to them, they could be saying if we can just get 50% of the points we're getting in the last half of our games, 11 games, that's what 33. So let's just say 16 points, right? If they can get 16 points, that's 43 points, which you could probably say the 40 mark is probably going to be where the cutoff will be at the end of the season, right? The 40, it would be safe to say the 40-point mark will definitely be kind of like a safety bar, right? If you got more than 40 points, you're definitely safe. If you have less than 40 points, you're not safe. Not saying that you're relegated, but you definitely weren't safe going towards the end of the season. So if they continue on their trajectory or continue on the form that they're at least getting about 50% of the points they have in their next upcoming games, it's looking like they can be clear. And don't get me wrong, right? They've had to transition managers more than we have this season. They have had a lot more transition than we have this season, right? They fired 2 managers, right? We only got rid of 1. We have 1 interim. They've had technically 2. They have on their second interim right now. So you're talking about a team that's gone through a lot of transition, right? Different styles of play. You're gone from a Nuno who's more structured, in a sense, more defensive, not necessarily like not saying that he doesn't do attacking football or attacking play, but definitely focuses more on solidifying the defense and allowing that platform for the offensive players to do what they need to do when they get the ball moving forward. Right. So you went from a solid system, which quite frankly was doing quite well, to a system with the Ange Postecoglou, who didn't really match the players there, didn't really match the style that was there before him. So the team struggled quite a bit to find any sort of form or balance with Ange. And then they have this new manager, Pereira, I think. And they've been they got Sean Dyche after that. Had Sean Dyche, got rid of him. So they're actually on their 3rd interim. So they got rid of Nuno to get Postecoglou, Right, Postecoglou was an interim. They got Postecoglou and got Sean Dyche. He was the second interim, and now they got rid of Sean Dyche and have Pereira. So that's the third interim. So they're on their third interim actually. So a lot of transition for this team, but through all of that mess, right? They come to this point of the season, 27 games in. They're just above the relegation zone, right? This team, I remember watching them fight for relegation literally until the last game of the season before. So this team knows what it's like to go down to the wire, like literally fans looking at the phone, we need to score to not get relegated sort of situation. So this team has gone through the wire. They've fought and have been in this situation before. In the form they're in, they're getting at least points in 50% of their games. So as much as we would like to say we're better than Nottingham Forest as far as our squad, as far as honestly, if you're an honest fan, we're not really better than Nottingham Forest. They went through 3 managers in a season. That's the reason why they're in this position. But if they kept Nuno, they would be nowhere near on this side of the table. And I think we kind of all know that. So to be quite honest, Nottingham Forest is a team that I would honestly predict to go above us. And we may fall into that 17th place, right? Move on from Nottingham Forest, we have West Ham. Now, this is also a team that is in a bit of form. So looking at them just head on, right, you see that they have 25 points. They're in 18th. They're in relegation. The season were to end today, for whatever reason, they would be relegated. But and then you also see negative 17 goal difference. Again, I don't think it will be a factor for us if it's a situation where we're going head to head as far as points and who's get relegated and who's saved in the Premier League, right? I think we'll be safe. I don't think we're going to ship 13 goals in our next game or more than 13 goals in our next game. So I think we'll be fine. But what I will say is look at the form West Ham's in. Look at the form. Out of the last 18, they got, 9. They got 11 out of 18 points, right? Only 1 loss in their last 6 games. They are on a 2-game win streak going into the next game. And they know if they can win their next game, they will jump ahead of Nottingham Forest and be safe in the Premier League. And Nottingham Forest will be in 18th place in that relegation spot as well. They will only be 1 point behind 16th place Spurs. So, what does that mean for us? It's Tottenham. Look at our form. Now, first of all, you could say 29 points, okay? Again, we are 6 points away from 13th place. So as far as us being in the mix of getting out of the regulation battle or saying we're not in a relegation battle, we're only 6 points away. So you could make the argument we're still battling for mid-table. We're still battling for mid-table, actually. But look at the teams behind us, 27, 25, right? 4 points from relegation, 2 points away from 17th place. Look at our form. 2 points in our last 18 points available. No wins in our last 6 games, 2 draws, and we just recently lost to our biggest rivals in Arsenal 4-1 at home. So you're talking about a team that is coming in right now at probably at some of its lowest form, close to its lowest form. If we would have gone in with only like a draw out of the last 6, this team would be dead on their feet. All right. We would be at the beach officially. Bags would be packed in Malibu somewhere, sunscreen on the nose, right? Snow cone in hand on the beach. Okay. We are barely hanging on by a thread as far as our form. as far as in the last 18 points available, we've only gotten 2. So that means we're still able to get points, but just barely any. If you were to take this form, right, and I honestly don't even know how it is. So in the third of your games, you're only getting 2 points. So out of the next 11 games we have, take a third of 11, which is let's just say 4. So in the 4 games that we can get points available, we have actually let's just say 3 to be safe. In the 3 games we have points available, right? The last time you got points, 2 draws. So you're saying in the 3 games that we have available, you're more than likely to draw 2 of them and maybe win 1. And if you want to move that to 4 in the 4 games that we may have available for points, right? At least 2 of those, 2 out of the 3 games or 2 out of the 4 games are probably going to be draws. So at least out of those 4 games, you're only going to get a point. And then maybe 2 wins somehow, some way. It's looking very dire as far as the form that we're in now, in this situation that we're in now, as far as not only is this team, don't want to say they're dead on their feet, but are dying on their feet literally game week after game week. The teams around us, right? Look at the teams, the 2 teams below us, the teams ahead of us. You could say Brighton and Crystal Palace are falling apart, but guess what? You still see green dots. You still see the wins in their last 6. What do we have? Out of all the teams that are around us, we are the only team to have not won a game. The only team that is in similar form to us is Wolves, who are in 20th place. They're on the beach. They know the Premier League season for them is done. Them going out there in every game is just a parade and a salute and a goodbye to the fans. They're every game, every home game. Thank you for showing up. We really appreciate it. Our time in the Premier League was great. Really had fun. That's us. That's us. Look, it's literally the same. Just mirrored on the different side, mirrored left to right. Same form. So you take this team that's pretty much dying on their feet, and you look at what's the expected point. So let's look here, right? Looking at the top of the table, this is the position, right? This game's played. So this is still the same amount of games played, right? This is just saying what they expected the positions of the teams to be up until this point. And this is the predictions of the teams going into the future. So you can see here in the expected. It's not looking great. Pretty much right where we are. As far as points, XG, goals for, goals against, the goal difference. Look at where we are. 28 goals for, 29 goal difference, minus 11. Yeah. So here's what I wanted to show, right? It's a prediction for relegation. So as you can see here, this is predictions, right? And again, I'm not sure how much you want to take these stats into play, but these are predictions of their percentages of what they're going to win and what will happen, right? So let's take, for example, let's come across the street in Arsenal, right? They're expected to get 81, or they're predicted to get 81 points, right? They are predicted to have an 83.5% chance, 83.5% chance to win the title from now. They have 100% chance of winning the Champions League, which means they are favorites 100%. They look as the strongest team. They haven't lost yet. They were number one going in. They are the number one seed, so they have 100%, right? Let's go all the way down to the lowly old Spurs here at 16th place. Now, this is interesting here. Now, look. As far as the prediction and the percentage goes for relegation, right? This far one is relegation. Actually, let's do that. That's even better. Just go all the way down. Looking at the percentage of teams that are looking to get relegated, right? Look here. So Tottenham is only at 4.81%, not even 5% chance to get relegated, which is quite interesting because I think this relegation battle is real, to be quite honest, if you ask me. I think it's real. This is maybe where the discreditation comes from, but look at this form. Look at the teams that match this form. Look at the teams around us in the form they're in. And look how many points they have. And this is the issue that fans need to realize, and this is what I want to say. This is a real thing. This is a real issue, right? This is a real concern for us because right now, this team is dying on their feet. We're slowly getting players back, but players such as like a James Madison, Kulusevski, those figures not coming back. I think there was a report of Pedro Porro and Kevin Danso coming back to the squad. And maybe that can supply some, stability as far as the back line. And maybe from there we can progress and try to move forward. But when you're looking at this team, you're looking at who's available. You're looking at where the inspiration, where the spark's going to come from, where the magic is in this team. Where is your belief? What do I have to rely on as far as I don't believe this team is going to be in a relegation battle? And you have nothing. So I think we need to take a moment and take a step back that even though these Opta analysis and everybody are saying, Tottenham won't get relegated. There's only a 4% chance we'll get relegated. You guys have a cushion as far as the points. These teams are going to drop points. You're going to gain points. You're going to get draws. You're going to get wins, right? These other teams don't know how to put a couple of games together, some points together. There's 11 games left. There's enough time to save it, right? When you hear these excuses, you hear people saying this is not, you're too good, you're too big, it can't happen. I'm here to tell you right now, it can happen. It can happen. Point blank, simple as. It can happen. The relegation battle is real. Look at the form we're in. You look at the form the other teams are in. You look at the points they have. Look at the points we have. You can look at their schedules. We'll look at our schedule. Let's take a moment to look at our schedule, right? Let's see. We're gonna pull up our team, Tottenham. Where are we, bad boy? Here we go. So, right. Look at the form. I'm going to look at the fixtures in the Premier League. We're not going to look at all of our games. We're just going to look at however many they're presenting to us right here. Right? So, because, I think we have to play Chelsea again, but we don't see Chelsea. That will be the penultimate game, to be quite honest. A lot of people are looking at that game as the penultimate game. whatever position we're in, if we're losing that game, that may seal it for us, depending on where we are, right? But we're just going to look at the next couple of games in front of us. We have Fulham, which is a London derby. So we have a London derby away. We play Crystal Palace at home. We have to go and play Liverpool away, which we never win at Liverpool. That's one of the games you might as well throw in the loss column because we never win at Liverpool. Nottingham Forest, the team that's, I think, as far as our squad, I think they have a better squad. They're in better form. And we're playing at home, so this should be a game where it really pushes and tests us, right? Sunderland, we have to go to Sunderland, play at Sunderland, which is going to be a tough game. We play Brighton, which Brighton's a team that hasn't been doing well. Again, they're in that 6-point range for us, so that should be a game we should be up for. Wolves, that's the team that's in the same form as us, but they're relegated. It's over for them. So it's simply going to be a dogfight. They're going to want to pull us down to the trenches. They're going to want to make us nervous. They're going to want to ruin our season. Can't let them. You have Aston Villa away, which is going to be a tough game, but that's going to be a hungry and desperate Aston Villa team as well. Depending on where they are in the table, they're going to be willing and ready to be in the middle of getting as many points as they can. And they know that we're going to try to play spoiler to what they got going on. So Aston Villa is going to be tough. And then most importantly, or I shouldn't say most importantly, last but not least on this fixture list, we have Leeds at home. Again, a team that's in good form, right? Smelling themselves. They haven't lost. And they're a strong team. They're going to be desperate. They're going to be hungry. And they have the confidence with them on their side. So not a lot of hope in these upcoming games. You could say Fulham. You could say Crystal Palace. These teams are, I don't want to say Fulham's on a skid, but Crystal Palace is definitely on a skid, right? We have them at home. That should be a game right there. You're saying we need to eye the 3 points right there. Fulham, I'm not sure. Fulham, I think it's going to be, we can pull up their form table right here. Fulham, where are they? So they only got 2 wins out of their last 5, right? 3 losses, 6 points out of their last 15. What is that? Yeah, that's 5. So 15. 6 points out of the last 15. They're not in the best form right now. So that should be a game you're looking to go in and saying, hey, we can push this team. We can do whatever we can try to push for a win, right? But at some point, if it's 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, whatever the score is, you're getting into the late points of that game, go ahead and take that punt, take the points, and get out of there, right? So, in your next 2 games, you're looking to get points. Because after that, you're going to Liverpool. After that, you're going to you're playing Forest at home. But that's going to be a strong game. That's going to be a desperate team. And then you got to go to Sunderland after that. So that stretch after these 2 games is going to be tough to make up the points that we don't get in these first 2 games. So, and then at that point, you're talking about that's 2 games. And the next 3 games after that are going to be tough. So that's already 5. So that's 5 games. In the next 5 games, you have an opportunity in 2 games to get points. And what did I say? In the 4 games that we can get points coming out of this 11, 2 of them are going to be draws. So I already think Fulham could be a draw. Crystal Palace, if we drop the ball or we bottle it, can be a draw. I think we can get 3 points. I think we can win. I think we can beat Crystal Palace, but we could also bottle it and get a draw. So it is what it is, right? So I just wanted to talk about that. It's real. It's real, folks. The relegation battle is real. I don't want fans to be carried away in the media or we're too big to go down and what people are telling us, people blowing up your head. It's a real thing. It is a real thing. Um, on that, we'll transition into our next topic, right? So, because the likelihood is a real thing, I've seen recently on social media that the PR machine that is Tottenham is in full effect. Now, I've already seen fans complaining about getting the emails, getting the text messages about Tottenham asking for the season tickets coming up. We would love for you guys to commit to next season right now, right? They don't even they're probably not even mentioning the relegation battle, the form that the team is on recently. They're only talking about the amenities they have, the prices, the deals they got, which hopefully the ownership is willing to cut some fans some deals, because if you're not, I mean, come on, nobody's going to be willing to huck up the change for this crap that they're watching, right? So they need to be shooting some people some deals. They need to be cutting some deals. You need to be getting some discounts on some group tickets. Maybe some of them box seats need to be cheaper. You know what I'm saying? They need to do something. They need to do something. And hopefully they are when they're pitching these season ticket things. But I've seen fans complaining about the season tickets. I've also seen this as well. Let me go ahead and get this pulled up. So I've seen fans complaining about the tickets. I've seen fans complaining about, just the ownership's decisions on what we're doing and how we're doing it. Now, I've also had many complaints on that. Why are we moving this way? What is the point of this? So many fans are saying the ownership is not acknowledging the fact that we are in a relegation battle right now. We are in a position to where it's a real possibility that Tottenham can have relegation. And fans are also upset with the fact that even if the rumors and the narratives, and if you're the most toxic Tottenham fan and believe this ownership only believes they're only a cash cow, they're only here to pump, generate, and print money for themselves and only themselves, and they don't care about anything that Tottenham do. Or how do we progress, I should say. Let me not say they don't care about what we do, but they don't care about how we progress as a football team. Even that toxic fan could say, if we're about to get relegated, the business is not even going to operate the same way. We're not going to be able to generate the same money. We're not getting the same money. We're not in the same competitions anymore. We're not in the same league. You get paid a certain amount of money for being in the Premier League right off the bat. Now, I've heard that when you get relegated, you do receive a lump sum of money to help stabilize the club, in a sense that, yes, there is a funnel effect of the money. It all kind of, not necessarily, I shouldn't say a funnel. It's like a faucet almost, right? That lever gets twisted a lot. So you're only getting a dripping of what that real money is being in the championship. First of all, you're on Paramount, all right? You go from Peacock to Paramount, all right? CBS, right? You're on Paramount, okay? First of all right, Peacock, you can watch those games on television. That's one. And then two, you have them on the app. Here in America, that shit is strictly only on streaming, right? And most sporting events that are only on streaming don't do well if they're not if it's not a marquee sporting event. If it's only on streaming, it's not going to do well. So right off the bat, no matter what deal the championship is cut with Paramount, you're not going to get a lot of money from that, because not a lot of people are watching the championship on Paramount. I'm just going to be blatantly honest, right? Not a lot of people are watching that, especially in the areas where Paramount is available. Not a lot of people are watching. So you have that, right? And then you also have players that you're going to want to, or the players that are going to want to leave, right? There's players that are going to go that you're going to have to continue to pay their wages after you sell them. That doesn't go away, right? And even if you sell the player for a certain amount of money, you still owe that money to that player. They don't take that money they don't take that debt that the player is owed from the club once he transfers over unless there's something written that the club will give us money directly to pay the player off, right? And those deals can be negotiated, but that it has to be negotiated. So to say that, okay, when these players leave, even if they leave and we sell them for hundreds of millions of dollars or hundreds of millions of euros, the money that we need to pay them for the contract we signed with them, we still owe them that money. And that's still pertinent. That's still now. That racks up and up and up. If you say you want to put it on the back burner, right? The money is still owed. So you're looking at a situation with players leaving, right? The faucet tightening just from your exposure and the platform that you're on, right? You could have the concerts, you could have F1, you could have all of that. And then you also have fan engagement, right? The fan engagement. Now, listen, I honestly think our fans are so dense and dumb and stupid that they'll still probably go to the championship games and try to treat it like the Premier League. There'll be the fan base that wants to treat the championship like the Premier League, or say, oh, the championship's not that bad. We got this and this, and oh, this team's fans are pretty cool, and oh, this player ain't too bad, and he ain't too shabby. He might be able to go in the We'll be that fan base that somehow embraces being in the championship and treat it as if we're in the Premier League and try to hype it up. So, like, if that were to happen, I still think fan engagement would go down in a sense, but I still think there is a section of the fans that would still engage, but the fan engagement would definitely go down. It would definitely go down. And with the fan engagement going down from you being in the championship, the sponsorship deals are going to start drying up, right? Or if sponsors are coming up and lining up because the value of the club is being lower and lower, they can say, hey, we know we can get a good deal. We know we can put big ass thing on your jersey because you need the money right now. Whatever colors we want. If we want an ugly neon green sticker on your shoulder, across the chest, on the back of the uniform, you have to do it because you're only worth this and we're paying you this. We know you need the money. So put the red Coca-Cola sign on the uniform or we're not going to pay you the $40 million you need. And this $40 million can go towards Van de Ven's contract that we still owe him, Romero's contract that we still owe on him, Pedro Porro's contract that we still owe on him, right? So all in all, to say that, right, so much is going on right now at Tottenham that there's so much that the fans are upset with. There's so much that is looking bleak and looking negative that the Tottenham PR machine, the ownership group, everybody within Tottenham is saying, hey, we need to put something out to get the fans back on our side. We need to say something to put the fans back with us, right? We want to show the fans we're with them. We want to show the fans that, hey, we know things have been looking meek right now. Things have been looking pretty bad, but listen, we're going to fix up. We're going to shore up, and we're going to make sure that we change our ways and go towards a brighter future, take an actual step forward, and we want the fans to know that. So here we have this, right? Now this, hold on, I'm not sure if you guys can see this. There you go. That might be a little bit better. So you have here from Transfer News Live, whatever. This is just kind of a whatever basic thing on X. But Tottenham's owners and sporting director Johan Lange are planning to rip up the club's rigid wage structure before a major overhaul of the squad this summer. If the team avoid relegation, Tottenham have the smallest wage bill among so-called Big Six, standing at $222 million in their most recent published 23-24 accounts, just over half of Manchester City's $413 million across the same period. So the ownership group and Johan Lange have said, listen, the fans are upset, right? We're not achieving the footballing things that we want to achieve. Whether they are aware of the relegation battle, if that's real in their minds, if that's something that they're planning for, whatever it may be, right? It doesn't seem like it isn't. doesn't really seem like they know that that's a possibility. But I digress, right? They're looking at everything and saying, hey, I think one of the things that we can change is something that the fans have been asking for is wage structure. Can we spend more money on players and bring the players in that we need? Now, I find this interesting because this has been a talking point for Tottenham for some time. It's been an issue for some time. We've heard this line before some time. They're wanting to change the wage structure. They're wanting to spend more on players. Hell, well, Johan Lange came out in that video and said that, hey, we couldn't find anybody this January. We didn't want to spend any money on anybody because we didn't think there was players that could make the impact that we wanted now in January and to finish up the season. So we've decided to take all that effort we would put in January and the money invested for January, which, funny enough, months before in December and November, they were saying, hey, we're saving up all this money for January. We got so many plans for January. They took all that money and all that planning, right, from December into January, and they're going to say, we're going to move that into the summer window. Now, they want to, what I also found interesting about this is that $222 million is one of the smallest of the so-called big six, right? So, and it's just over half of Manchester City's at $413 million. So we have one of the smallest wage structures out of the big six teams, right? One of the smallest wage structures out of the big six teams. Now, I don't want to pull up the table again because we've been staring at the table this whole stream, but I feel like I have to pull it up again. I don't want to pull it up again. No, God, don't make me pull it up again. But for the longest time, I've heard so many fans say that the squad we have, yes, it's not necessarily good enough. Right now, especially, it's not good enough to compete for top four. It's not good enough to get us into the Champions League on its own without getting some sort of sporting merit or winning it, being awarded from another competition, entering into the Champions League, right? We would have to take our chances on that more than going through the gauntlet, which is the Premier League season, and finishing among the top four teams. So there are some fans that are saying the team's not good enough to do that. We know that, especially right now. Team's not good enough to do that. Top six team. Well, we got a top six squad. I mean, we can compete with the top six teams. We may not necessarily, beat everybody, but as far as being in the top six teams, the best top six teams in the Premier League, we should be up there. You look at the top 8, top 10. Oh, yeah, most definitely. Most definitely in there. Most definitely in there. Top 15. Not even a question. Not even a question. Now, granted, squad's actually not in the top 15 teams in the table, the Premier League table. But if you wanted to look pound for pound with the squad we have, the players we have, we're in the top 15 for sure. For sure. And as far as this being in the top 20, as far as it being a Premier League team, you're making fun of us now. You're taking the piss out of us. I ought to slap you in the face. You know what I'm saying? How dare you? Hold on, where is it? How dare you, right? How dare you? I ought to slap you for saying Tottenham's not a Premier League team. That's crazy. But when you look at this, right? I'm going to pull up our squad. Go ahead and get this pulled up. I didn't want to pull up the table again. I'm just going to look at the squad that we have, right? Richarlison in the forward line, we have Richarlison. Now, don't mind the players that are injured, right? We're just going to take into account because it doesn't matter if the players are injured or if they're playing now. We're still paying them, by the way. We're still paying these players. So, in the forward line, we have Richarlison. Randall Colomwani, Matisse Tell, Dominic Solanke, Wilson Odebear, Lucas Williams Barnett, and James Wilson. In the midfield, we have Muhammad Kudus, Xavi Simmons, Pape Mate Sarr, Vez Busuma, Jao Polina, Connor Gallagher, James Madison, Kulusevski, Bergval, Rodrigo Bentancur, and Colin Lucesi. In the defense, we have Christian Romero, Rodrigo Gusin, Mickey Vanderven, Pedro Porro, Destiny Udogi, Archie Gray, Jed Spence, Kevin Danzo, Souza, Ben Davies, Juan A. Byfield, and James Roswell. In goal, and the goalkeepers, we have Vicario, Kinski, and Brandon Austin, right? So now you actually look at the players we have. Now, I can look at this forward line, right? Let me ask you this. Looking at this forward line and the players we have, is this worth well, I shouldn't say it's all worth $220 million, but let me ask you this. First of all, and the players that we have here listed, who do you think is the most expensive? Who do you think is being paid the most? When Fabrizio Romano came out with this headline, which player had the biggest number next to his name? You'll be very surprised. You'll be very surprised. Very surprised, right? Very, very surprised. Now, if you were to ask me, how much does this forward line cost, right? If you had $222 million to buy any player in the world, right? And I came to you with this, how much money did you think I spent? How much money did you think I spent? Because if I were to tell you right now that Dominic Solanke, Richarlison, Richarlison, Dominic Solanke, and Matisse Tell were already right off the bat $150 million, what would you say? Where the hell? What would you pay that? Who would it? 150 million? That's crazy. That's crazy. If I were to look at this midfield, right? And not all the midfielders fit on there, by the way. You got to scroll down. You got to continue scrolling down, right? Now, if I were to tell you all of these midfielders, right? All the midfielders in the world, 222 million, and I came back to you with this list of midfielders, how much money did you think I spent? How much money did you think I spent? Look, how much money did you think I spent? Look at the defense we have. Now, again, mind you, forget the red cards, forget the injuries, forget all of that. But look at the defenders I have. If I told you I had $222 million to spend on my defense, and I came back with this, how much money did you think I spent? How much money? And did you think I would be getting you think I would be getting back on my investment? Do you think I would be gaining back what I put into the squad? The answer is no. The answer is no. This forward line, this whole team cost the club $222 million this season. First of all, $222 million, right? One club that's in the same city as us across the street spent more than half of that on just their midfield. Manchester City doubles that to pay their squad. I don't know why this selected a random player, but we're going to go back. This All these players are the cheapest out of the top six. And if I were to, I'm not going to go through all the top 16 squads, but if I were to pull up the players, you would see the difference. If I were to pull up Manchester City's forward line and pull up this forward line and ask you who costs more, who do you think would cost more? In which club do you think is getting more from that investment at the moment? The reason why I bring this up and I go through all of this is to say this, right? They say they want to rip up the wage structure. They say they want to change it. They want to spend more on players, right? These three players alone cost 150 million. That Richarlison, Dominic Solanke, and Matisse Tell, 150 million dollars. 150 million dollars we have to pay. Now, we don't have to pay all that in a lump sum now, right? We only have to pay 222 million dollars last season. And that was not technically including the championship season, I don't think. So next season, it may be even more because we may have to pay out the rewards for winning a trophy. I'm not sure if there's any clauses or stipulations for these players to win a trophy, right? We rarely do. But if there was a reward clause for that, we have to pay that out now. So imagine the 222 plus whatever. So that's even more money on top of that, just to say. But it's for the 23-24 season. We had to pay $222 million out for this team. We have to make sure that these three players get $150 million in the upcoming years. They will cost us $150 million over however many years in the future. So I say this to say the wage structure that we have now, yeah, it can be ripped up. It's bullshit now. It's terrible now. But do you have any trust in this ownership to A, put a wage structure together, and then B, actually implement the change that's needed in this wage structure? These players cost $150 million to buy. This was just to buy. We had to pay 220, which is not a lot of money, right? It's not a lot of money because we keep the wages low. So the wages are so low, but we have to pay these players across years of being on this team. So yes, the wage structure can be changed, but I don't have any trust in this team to do it or trust in this ownership to do it. If you look at the wage structure they've implemented so far, it looks to be paying young players over a long amount of time a lot of money, but not a lot at the time. So they could only be getting $200 or $150,000 a week, but they're also being at this club for 4 to 5 years, right? So yes, the rate structure can be changed. That's something that can be changed, yes. But I don't have any trust in this ownership to do it. They're the ones that implemented this wage structure now. And if you're talking about they're wanting to put money up front or having this war chest that we had in January to continue on to this summer, well, you're going to have to pay out $222 million plus whatever else next season for the rewards of winning the Europa League. You may get some money from selling players, but then you're talking about having to bring players in. And you're already talking about spending 250 plus million next season. Is this club really going to be willing to spend even more? And I kept saying, right? It's going to be around 300, 400 million to actually change this squad and this club around. I'm not joking when I say that. We already have to spend 250 million for the players that we have now. This ownership needs to be willing to spend 300 million just to change the squad. Then you want to talk about change the wage structure behind it. So you're spending even more money than that. And we don't know if we're going to even be in the Premier League next season. That's scary. That's a scary thing. Because do you think they're going to keep their promise of changing this wage structure if we do go into the championship? I guarantee you they won't. They won't. And the reason why some fans may think we need to get Poch, we need to get this guy, we need to do this because, one, it just feels nice. It feels nice to have Poch. Poch is going to embrace us with the warm hug and tell us everything's okay. Second thing we think he's going to do is he's going to wave his magic little wand like he did almost a decade ago and change the squad around. Bippity boppity boo. Remember, almost a decade ago, like almost 10 years ago, he's going to do the exact same thing he did almost 10 years ago to this squad now, and it's going to be a magical change that the fans have been wanting. And then third, let's not forget, he's going to somehow, some way, by the grace of God, by the glory of Almighty above us, use his powers to infiltrate the ownership group, change their way of thinking and say, hey, whatever this guy's cooking, I want in. And I'm putting my money up or I'll shut up. He somehow think he's going to be able to come in, change how this ownership operates, get the investment that he needs to buy the players that we want, and bring into this squad to compete on the levels and for the trophies and be at the level that we should be. So those are the three things we hope Poch will do. And you can sit there and say, fans can sit there and say that this is what will happen. This is what, along with Poch coming in, he's going to work within the wage structure. He's going to make everybody great. And then once somehow they see that Poch has been waiting in the mud, getting these players dusted off all shiny, that they're going to give him the money. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know what they're going to say? Not only do we owe on this, we owe on the stadium still, by the way, folks. That's still the thing we're paying for. That doesn't just go away. We're paying for the stadium. We got to pay these players next season, whether they're here or not. We got to pay these players. Plus, we got to pay off their rewards for winning a trophy last season. Then we're going to have to buy and bring in players and give them wages that are higher than the wages that we have for the players now. So again, you're talking about spending upwards of a 300 to 400 million, to be quite honest, which fans are saying that's crazy. That's a lot of money. Chelsea spent a fucking $1 billion in a summer. It's not crazy. It's not insane anymore. It's the reality of the situation. And to be quite honest, the reality is this ownership group has never done anything to show that they would do that. I don't think they've ever spent that much in a summer window before, let alone this is their promise to Spurs fans after getting relegated. Hell no. The purse strings are going to be tighter than ever before because they just literally saw all their money go away. If we stay in the Premier League, they would have seen their wallet fall out of their pocket and dance on the drain and not fall down. It lands on the drain flat before it falls through the drain. That's what the ownership just saw. They just saw their moneymaker, right? They dropped their piggy bank and it didn't shatter. That's what happened. And they're saying, oh, for the love of God, if that were to ever happen, we're never going to let that happen again. So the purse strings are only just going to get tighter from here. They're going to get tighter from here. We won a trophy and we won a trophy and we cut on the wages that we were spending. We got rid of the highest paid players that we had. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? And then they're going to say we're going to rip up the wage structure. We're going to redo this. as they're asking you to buy the season tickets, mind you. It's in full effect. It's in full effect. The PR machine is in full effect. Don't fall for it. Don't on this hype train. Don't get on the hype train. That's all they're gonna try to do. The hype train. Don't fall for it. Don't be a part of it. All right. Understand what the reality of this situation is. This club has to, granted, we're spending a lot of money, so the things like the concerts and the F1 tracks, they're needed because we're spending a lot of money. But don't get it twisted. This club is not looking to hemorrhage or to try to dive deep into their own pockets or even pissed off their investors even more and beg for more money. When you see that whenever they're asking investors and people for more money, that this is the footballing product that they're getting at the end of it, that's why you're seeing sponsors coming up now and saying, like, listen, I'm not sure that you guys know what you're doing. If you guys had a plan and this is just the results of it, maybe that's a little bit different and they can work with that. It looks like we have no plan. We're dropping down in the table. We might get relegated. Sponsorships are not going to want to be with us. Even if you say, oh, but they got the people coming in the stands and the stadiums. But look at all the talk that's around Tottenham. Look at all the talk. Just imagine the field day, the negativity in the media, the field day they would have if Tottenham got relegated. You think any sponsorship's going to want to come in fresh after that and say, yeah, put our names right there. We want our badge right over this team that the media just slated for the last week, that they just slated all summer, that they're going to slate all through the season. People will say, oh, well, good attention, any attention's good attention, but I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that, homie. I'm not sure a lot of sponsors are going to want to be with the team that's been relegated and that their ownership group is being laughed at as they speak. Because what does that say about them going in to do business with them? If you're doing business with the ownership group that's being laughed at by everybody, what does that say about your business acumen, right? So all in all, we're going to end it right there for tonight. Watching this live stream, I saw a couple of comments come in. I want to thank you, brother, for throwing in the comments into the live chat. I appreciate it. Listen, we're going to be coming to you live on Friday. I'll be February 27th, right? Coming to you live, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Same place, same time, same face. We're going to be previewing the Fulham game. Again, I'm saying that there's points there in the game. So we're going to be covering that, the likelihood of that, maybe covering even some gambling odds if you're a gambling man. But we're going to review all of that and more. So I will be back with you guys on Friday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. But until then, De La Spurs is out. Thank you.